Good morning, everybody. It is January 31st, 2025. It has been 4.5 years since I have done a morning coffee. Not without good intention that I was going to do coffees, and life just got in the way. Life just got hectic and busy and crazy, and the last little coffee that we all had together was, let me think, it was Memorial Week of, 2020, so 4.5 years crazy. It was during that time when COVID was in a high gear. Businesses were closed down except for essential things. I had retired right at the very beginning of when COVID kind of exploded, and I remember my last evening in the clinic working there. We sat there in the evening and we didn't have any patients because the only ones that we were seeing were like COVID tested was like drive-through testing. COVID patients were the only ones that were allowed in. So no physicals, no child cares, no refills, no anything. Only urgent care type stuff that was seen. Everything else was kind of like on hold. So it was just kind of like a ghost town. Parts of the clinic were shut off. Like I said, I sat there with, I can't remember who the last tech I had worked with, but we sat there and we saw maybe one patient or two patients. I can't remember. I think it was mostly just brought in specimens. I don't even remember if we even drew patients that evening. So it was kind of a surreal last night. And then we had our business and that was running. And then, of course, everybody got completely shut down. Healthcare kind of started it. And then, bam, government mandates came down and everybody had to shut down. And then if you were an essential business, you could remain open, which was the liquor store, so that stayed open until everything opened up again. And when was that? Was it in June? In June, I believe. So that's the last time we had coffee. That's what was going on in the world at the time, May of 2020. Things have changed a lot since then. And I haven't been organized enough to do coffees. Not organized enough, not ambitious. So I had retired from the medical field and we were just running the business, and we had kind of skeleton staffing. A lot of the staff people were off work. I know a lot of places during that time, not us per se, because we did have employment for everybody, but other businesses were closed down getting unemployment, and then they were getting, I think they were getting like $600 a week unemployment bonuses or something like that. So when the bar reopened again, I believe in June, it was like, 4.5 years ago, I don't remember exact dates anymore. The bar was just crazy because Wisconsin was open because our, Tavern League fought and all the bars opened up in Wisconsin and there's no masks and it's like the wild, wild west. So all the Minnesota people that were, especially in the border towns, came over to Wisconsin. So the bar was extremely busy. We were a very skeleton crew. It was crazy, crazy, crazy busy. So that kind of was the summer, was just working that, and I didn't get up north a lot that summer, which is very disappointing. And major changes in my life happened the summer of 2020. Relationship status changed, work status changed. That fall, I went back to the medical field. It wasn't the fall, I guess it was November. And I hadn't realized that the clinic that I worked for did lay off, and it was just skeleton crews working. I didn't even know that. So I was off a little over 6 months from the medical field, came out of retirement out of necessity, and went back to work. And a lot of the other workers were just coming back to work too, because I was kind of like, oh, everybody will be helpful. They help me get back on my feet. Well, it was just chaos. It was just chaos because a lot of people had been off. They had some computer changes. So it was just kind of, everybody was just like hanging on to a life preserver, trying to get back rolling with everything going on. And then when we started up, then it was like, if anybody had any type of, did we have full gear on at first? I believe so. I think we had masks and stuff on all the time. And then they lightened it up depending on what the census was over that winter months for amount of COVID and then we would just do the full garb when we were doing symptomatic or positive COVID patients. And that went on for a long, long time. And then we finally got rid of that after a while, and then um, it came back that we had to do it again, and it was kind of a yo-yo for quite a long time after the COVID stuff was, like the major stuff was done and everything was opening up and everything was back to, it was a strange time for everybody, I'm sure. So it's going to take me a little bit to get back in the swing of things. I got a whole different, it's like, what is the mess in the back? Well, Viva Las Vegas, which is a long ways away. I am going this year. I'm kind of starting to figure out what I'm kind of cleaning closets and figure out what I want to wear. And then I really didn't need any more clothes. Of course, you always buy something when you have something come up. So that's what all the mess is in the back. So I went back to the medical field. Went back in the medical field in November. Relationship status changed to where now I just have a very cordial relationship, and we live in separate houses, and it works fine. We travel together sometimes. He comes up north a little bit, comes over and visits the puppies. So it's a very cordial relationship in separate houses, which is it's working okay. It was a transitional time for a few years there before we kind of got to where we are now, but everything's as okay as it's going to be. So that's okay. So did my job from the November of 2020 until I'm trying to think dates, until last fall, and then last summer, which would have been 2024. I mean, there's usually when we do coffee, sometimes there might be a 6 month gap, but now we're talking like a 4.5 year gap. So I'm just trying to get you up to speed what's been going on with me, and it's a lot. So back to work until last fall. Last summer we found out that our clinic system, was selling off our clinic laboratories to a corporation. We had no idea it was coming. We found out. I happened to be off that week. The same week that a storm took out my camper up north and totaled it. Found out that don't not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but found out that this acquisition happened, and they stated to the staff, because it was like a town hall and I was on via phone listening to it, that if you had a job, that you would find out via email by the end of that week. And I was on vacation all week, and it's a work email. So I was just like, oh Lord. I was dealing with my camper, getting a loan for my new camper because my old camper wasn't worth anything. And I was lucky to get a little bit of money for it. Not enough to pay for a new one, that's for sure. I was in 1999. So I didn't know until the end of the week. Well, since I wasn't back to work, we found through the grapevine, if you didn't have a position, if you weren't getting a job offer, those people were told. They already know. So no news is good news. So if you didn't get a call stating you were clear, so I'm like, okay, that was good. So then we had, and over the since COVID, our lab staff has just dropped off. We've had staff walk out. We've had people retire early. We've had people go back to different jobs, different departments, different stations in the healthcare field. So for the last year and a half or so, we've just had skeleton crew. It was me and one other gal, the lead. She's great, great worker. But it was stressful. During this time, I developed bad IBS symptoms and ulcers and headaches, and like stress does a number on your body. So we had been struggling at the place that I had worked for quite a long time, but always had hope it's going to get better. We're going to get the supplies we're going to need. They're going to finally unfreeze our wages and give us increases, because we were way below the pay scale for lab technicians in the area by $3 an hour. But you thought, it's going to get better. So you kept hanging on, kept hoping, and think, it's going to get better. So you've always had that, right? So oh, guess so, so guess what just came? My mail person just came. I just saw her drive up, and because I had ordered another dress for Viva, and I just saw her driving up. So I'm like, oh, I bet you that's my one dress from Poshmark. I had signed up for Poshmark years ago, and didn't realize that they carried vintage and vintage reproduction stuff. Oh, it wasn't good because I bought some stuff now. But anyway, so back to work. I got distracted. I'm like a dog who sees something because I just saw him drive up my driveway, and I'm like, oh, it's my dress. So we were hanging on to hope that things would get better. Then this acquisition happened, and the staff that had been holding out with me, hoping for better days, everybody left except for me and one of the lab assistant gals. Everybody else was gone. When I started there, we had 10 MLTs. The last year or two, we've only had 2 MLTs and a lab assistant and phlebotomist. It's been stressful. It's been a large workload. Very stressful. So when this happened, it was just kind of like a slap in the face to all of us that have been hanging on to hope and working with all of this stress, hoping for better days, and then to get whomped with, oh yeah, we sold you. So everybody dispersed and left and did whatever except for me and another gal. One drifted over from another clinic, and then everybody else was going to be new hires from the company that bought us. So like, oh, don't worry, the day we start up, we will have you fully staffed. We'll make sure that you have way more than enough staff. It was a crap show. It was awful. I was there in the back, the supervisor who was doing supervisory stuff, and then a training person. The 40 years that I've been in the healthcare field, I've never seen such a disaster and mess and disorganized and done so unprofessionally. But I thought, well, I've only got a couple more years. You can buck up, Mary. You've been through hard times before and get through this and stay. So I had stayed. I could be here for an hour telling you all the things that weren't good, but I'm not going to. Needless to say, I stayed for 9 straight days. I had a load of overtime, and things just were not progressing and getting better. And I had talked to Gary, told him my situation, told him what my plan was. Would you be willing to help me a bit? Yes. Not without a lot of explaining, but he said, yeah, I'll help you out. I worked that last weekend, and it wasn't even my weekend to work, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to stay this weekend, and, because it's usually quieter on the weekends, and it was me and then the supervisor from Michigan, who was wonderful. None of this is his issue or fault. He couldn't even believe it. He was very exasperated with all of it, too. And I thought, I'm going to come in this weekend, I'll have time, I'm going to get things organized, get things done, take care of things. And one day was great, and I thought, oh, good, you're seeing a little bit of clearing of the clouds. And then the next day, and then Monday was bad, and I had had that talk with Gary, and then I decided, you know what, there's some things I need to get off my computer, some things I need to send to my home address. I'm talking about copies of your educational records and diploma, stuff that you would need to get another job, copies of things. I hadn't set up my payroll for the new company yet. So I went in, took care of all of that stuff, told the trainer, I'm tapping out, I'm done. And those are the words I used. I said, because we had talked about it the week before, which one of us is going to tap out, you, the trainer, or me, the last worker here. And he goes, we're going to make it, right? Went up to him the morning I was going to leave, and I just went like that. He goes, what? And I went, he looked at me, I said, I'm tapping out today. And he goes, no. And I got offered a huge bonus to stay. And at this point, I was done. And I wanted to tell my supervisor myself, but he was so upset and not happy and angry that I was leaving because I was kind of the last cog there. And I was working my behind off. He blurted it out at the meeting. He was so upset, and he goes, I know you wanted to, but he goes, I was so mad and so upset for how all this has been handled, and this is corporate, this is huge, massive companies. I mean, massive, massive. That this should have been. I'm like, did you guys not have any meetings or prep or run-throughs, or it was just a free-for-all? So he told my supervisor, and my supervisor came down and sat by me and said, so I heard you're giving you 2 weeks. And I just looked at her and I'm like, no, I said, I'm leaving today. I've never done this my whole career. I've always, no matter how miserable I've been somewhere or how bad it is or whatever, I've always given 2 weeks. I said, I'm leaving today. I said, I know there's another tech, finally, another tech coming in at 11 and working the evening shift because I had been working from open to close. And then the weekends, I had a massive amount of overtime. I said, no, today. I said, and they said, this has been coming. And there's problems and issues before the acquisition. So I said, I'm done today. And she's kind of, like, I was going to get into conversation or discussion, or like, she's a smart person. She knows why I'm leaving. This was just like the icing on the cake. There's many years of other things. So, boy, I tell you what, the relief and the peace that I felt, I was anxious at first, and then I had put out my LinkedIn thing to some jobs, and I got some bites back, and I'm like, I need to slow my roll down and really look at things and really figure out what I want, where I am where I'm in life. And last year, it was one of the large things. I had lost one of my siblings, which was just devastating to me. And then the camper business, and then the job business, and this was all within like 3-4 months. All of this happened, and I just thought, and I've had all these health issues that are stress related. So I thought, I'm done. I really sat down and looked at my finances. Like I said, I called Gary and I said, hey, can you come over? He doesn't live very far. He lives in the family farm. He inherited when his father passed, so he lives over there. He's only a few miles away. So he came over. We had a little discussion, a very open discussion about everything, and I decided, I quit. I left, and I had given myself, because I was dealing with a lot of stuff with my brother passing. When somebody, even if somebody doesn't have anything, there's extended family members you might have to deal with. And there was no will, and I was listed as next of kin via my siblings said, because I've always taken care of everybody's everything in my family, so I did that. And then when you don't have a will and stuff, you have to go, and if it's under $50,000, $50,000, you do not have to go to probate. You don't have to get a lawyer involved. And the lawyer said, there's not enough here. You just have to wait for the death certificate, which takes forever and a day. Get what's called a letter affidavit listing the next of kin, which is a whole rigmarole that you got to fill out, and then take care of what you need to take care of. And there's some of the extended family members that weren't happy with decisions or things that were decided, but they were decided by a majority of the family, and what was fair to these extended family members. He didn't have any biological children. He wasn't married. He had a little puppy dog. So I didn't finish dealing with all of that until the end of December. And he had passed the beginning of, it was Labor Day weekend. So I was dealing with that. And I thought, I think I'm not going to go back to work. Once you are 59 and a half, which I was not at the time, you can access your 401k. And I had enough money from my last employer's overtime, my vacation PTO payout, because there's PTO freezes and you couldn't take any time off of work either because of staffing. So I had a load of that. And then when I worked for the new company, getting overtime bonuses and whatnot pay, and I only worked for 9 days, and I had enough that at this point right now I am still living off of the wages, PTO, overtime money from those two employers. So that's given out, and thank goodness I turned 59 and a half. That's how old I am, 59 and a half, so I can access my 401k. So I had gone in and talked to my financial advisor, all my retirement money, and my present retirement money and my other retirement money. I'll put them all together, and they're all with Edward Jones, and they do a lovely job managing everything for me. So I had enough in there when I sat down with him, with a little bit of financial help from Gary. He pays things like the insurance, taxes, and now I negotiated my lot rent. And he also, part of our deal or whatever is that he pays for the puppies' health care, and I pay for everything else. So everyday living stuff, their beauty appointments, whatever. So he just pays some of those major things for me. So between the insurance house, and that's like about $6,000, he helps me throughout the year. And then of course the puppies, because those are his kids, and those are the only kids he has. So he pays for that stuff too. So if it wasn't for that, I would have to get a part-time job of some sort. But he is nice enough to do that, and it's kind of a symbiotic relationship, because he's been on my health care for ever and a day, and after we had gone our separate ways, I kept him on my health care. So he's had the luxury of being on my health care since we went our separate ways, which was a little, almost 5 years ago or so. So I said, well, not payback, but you scratch your back and I'll scratch my back, you scratch yours, you scratch my back and I'll scratch your back, or whatever. So that's kind of the situation we're in. So if I didn't have that, I would have to get a very part-time job, because when you average all that stuff out over a 12-month period of time, it's not too horrendous of amount where I could just got like 20 hours a week working a job, $15 an hour, and been more than enough comfortable to have a little bit of extra money and pay for all that type of stuff. So here we are. So I had retired, remember, in 2020 I had retired. I was going to work the business. Well, that all went down the toilet drain, whatever. And then I had to kind of revamp my whole life. So it's been kind of a whirlwind. And then now I'm kind of like, January has been my month of peace. I've kind of gotten everything straightened out, kind of taken care of, kind of looking towards the future, kind of finally have since I, the month of January, had all my like appointments and stuff scheduled. Next one is, and then Gary is on Medicare now. So we got him all enrolled, and I took care of all that type of stuff for him. And then I had to go through the, what is it called? Health.gov site or whatever. I went through that, and then IHEX, don't be without health insurance. So I went and I have enrolled in that, so you have to have health insurance. So he's on his Medicare. I'm now on my own independent plan, and then we just had to switch all of that. If you've worked with this healthcare.gov, so I thought, I'll call them and they'll just take them off the plan. You have to completely cancel the plan you're on, cancel the plan, and then you have to re-enroll in all of it. And oh my Lord, I tell you, I give it to those people that work for those, for the healthcare.gov, because I am pretty insurance savvy. I've been in the medical field for, like I said, 40 years. And I feel bad and I feel sorry for the people that don't have the knowledge that I do. And they, I bet you they're lost. And and the thing is, the medical language is a whole different, it's not like it's everyday language for me, because I worked it. But for the layman or the, normal guy off the street, I bet you they're clueless. Like, what are you talking about? So I tell you, the workers for that are very, very patient. I'm going to apologize because I am being like all modern, and I'm doing my morning coffee on my my phone. So I don't know where I'm supposed to be looking. So I'm like probably looking at the ceiling, over there. Of course I'm looking outside because stuff is outside. So I'm sorry if my eyes are like wonky all over the place. I'm trying to get, I think I'm going to stick, this is what I got. I have this and I think I'm going to stick it. Because when I used to use my camera, I would look at the lens. And this lens is like, it's got 4 different little lenses. So this is what I think I'm going to do tomorrow. So I remind myself to look at a certain spot as I cut this little, when we went to Graceland, you could get matches. So I think I'm going to stick this, like right next to my lens. And I was going to do it when I talked to you guys where you could do it face fronting so you can make sure everything was, it took me I was doing it last night at 11 o'clock trying to get everything to where it needs to be. I don't know where I'm going to be sitting. So I think I'm going to, I turned it around. So I wasn't looking at myself because I've noticed this on channels that I watch, that if they have it facing front where they can see themselves, that they are looking at themselves. So, I'm looking at you right now in my little, it looks like a fly eye, it's got little lenses all over it. So I'm looking at you right now, but I noticed that if I had it facing the other way, and I've noticed that other people have done this, they'll look here because if I'm looking that way, that would be where my screen is, and I would be looking at myself. So I guess you'd feel more like you're talking to somebody directly. So I thought, I can't do that. I can't have it facing where I can see myself, because otherwise I won't be talking to you. Not that I have great eye contact anyway. I'm all over the place. So, and this is going to be a lot easier because it used to, I got a new computer in the mix of all this. It used to be easy. I plug in do my camera thing. I'd take my little SD card, plug it into my computer, and then I could upload it to, well, I got a new computer and I don't have my old movie maker. And I don't know what I'm doing. And I can't even find, I've got like tens of thousands of pictures, and some of them are in a hard drive. I got 2 different files. I'm sure people can feel my pain. So I thought if I do it this way, I don't know what it's going to look like. Like I said, it'll be a surprise. And I can upload it directly to YouTube off of my phone. And then I also have if I do a slideshow, I can do it off of an app that I have that I know how to use. I've used the Google app and it's kind of crappy. I just used it for something and I'm just like, I don't like it, but it is what it is. Now that I have my Google account connected to my picture files, now I can do things easier. I tell you, I'm not the best at technology. Oh, and I don't know if you've noticed. Like some of my stuff, I try to keep it vintagey looking in the back, but last year, way past due, part of our agreement was that things that were not done to the house while we were together, he would take care of now, because he did not like to do stuff for the house that needed to be done in all the years that we lived together here. So he took care of them. Better late than ever. So last year we finally took everything off the walls, got everything painted. It was an ordeal. And we got a handyman who does it as a side job, because the bids we got from companies were, we have a very small upper level here, 800 square feet, if it's even that. And that would be ceilings and walls, painting them the same color. So one bid was $8,000 and one was $12,000. And boy, I'm not with the program because I thought that was horrendous, right? But maybe it isn't. So then we got a friend of mine, we got somebody who does it on the side to do it. And I would give the job a C. There's things that we need to go back and fix, and things that were missed, and things that were slopped on. If I was a picky person, it wouldn't be good, but I'm not. I was happy for fresh paint just to lighten up the house. So we got that done. And like I said, it's 100% better than it was, but we got a lot of touch-up work. And last year I just said, I said, I don't have it in me. I said, we'll do it next summer. I said, it's the paint spots that weren't done and the ones that had gripping globs on them. We'll be there next year. We'll fix them next year. We'll take the cans, take them back to Sherwin-Williams, have them reshake them and fix them. But overall, maybe a C+. It's nice and bright, and I was very, very, very grateful that he did it, because he saved us a lot of money, because I couldn't believe it. And then, so we did that. Like, so be grateful I have fresh paint, Mary, not be so picky about it. But like I said, if I was a picky person, man, but I'm not. We'll fix it. It's all right. It's good enough for me. I've never been a picky person about anything. But that's where the money savings come in. But you could have got a professional person in here and maybe had the same problems with paint where it shouldn't be and things not painted and paint all over the trim and splattered all over. You might have got that with a professional person paying double what you paid, and then wouldn't you be mad? So I'm not mad. I'm happy that it's painted and it looks nice and fresh. And we can do the touch-up stuff ourselves. So we got that done last year. That was in the spring, and then we got all new carpet. It was the original carpet that was in here when we moved in 2002 or 2003, which had been in here for a while. So I like carpet. I know everybody says, oh, get faux hardwoods. I like carpet, even though we have animals. I just like carpet. So we got the whole house recarpeted. And that I said, we're not going to the first time we had carpet in the house, we had a friend of Gary's do it, and he did a nice job. But I thought, let's do it right. And we bought it from a professional. We had a professional installer, and they did a great job. It's lovely. So, so I took everything off the walls. And I thought, my house is so cluttered, because I love to keep everything. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to limit what I put up. Well, it's starting to build up already. But so my vintage room, which is this room, which is my son Zach's old bedroom, I still kept that vintage. And I moved everything from the whole house that was vintage into this room. That picture right there, my father painted. He was a folk artist. So I thought I'd move that in here, and I did buy a nice little piece of artwork, but I moved all of the vintage stuff into this room and kept my bathroom vintage because it's all that Robin Egg blue. It's going to be the longest coffee ever, isn't it? I don't even probably want to know how long it's going to be. Anyway, and the rest of the house I kind of just kept modern. Not modern aesthetic, but just kind of like homey, country feel, whatever. Because I thought there's just too much stuff. And then, you get to a certain point now that I'm retired, you have to think, does this mean something to me, or do I have it hanging up because it was passed down to me from a grandparent or great-grandparent? I had two great big huge oval pictures that were my grandmother's, my grandpa Carl, when he was a young child. They're from like the late 1800s and big oval. I mean, who they are, but they have no meaning to me. So what I have done is put stuff that has meaning to me back up, and not put stuff up because I feel that I need to put it up because it was my family's. I didn't get rid of it, put it out in the new shed. I got myself a new shed finally too. Got that all done. That was like pulling teeth up, but we got that done. Put that in the shed, and then I got a lot of tchotchke knick-knacky stuff. So that was my mom's and my grandma's. So I kept what meant something to me, and I can't get rid of it. I can't just like take it to Salvation Army because it was. So what I've started is, when I see my brothers or sibling, I guess I only got 2 siblings left. There were 7 of us originally, and now it's me, my brother Mike, and my brother Dean. That's all that's left. We've lost 4 siblings. It's crazy when you think about it. Another reason I was thinking, I'm not going back to work. Might not have the longest expiration of my life. I'm going to enjoy some of it. I think too many people work too long, and then all of a sudden something happens health-wise or personal-wise or whatever, and then so when it's a couple of years down the line, I will take my Social Security at 62. Thank you very much. So anyway, so what I do is I take things, and I'll get, like, my brother Mike has 3 daughters, so I'll get like 3 boxes, and I'll put, so each girl gets some trinkets, some of this, some of that, and make little gift boxes for each of the girls, something that I think they'd want, not junk or crap or broken stuff, but things that are memories and that were Grandma Beans or Grandma Zettner's or whatever, and pass them down. If they choose not to keep them or not, that's on them, but I don't want to know about it. But then I don't feel guilty. So I really only have my brother's 3 nieces to give stuff to. My brother D, not so much. They got all their own stuff. And then my nephew Rich, who is my sister Pat's son, and I don't remember if my sister had passed away before or after my last coffee. I can't remember. Maybe before, but in the last few years I've lost my sister Pat, and then my brother Donnie last. So it's like it really makes you kind of rethink things and what you want to do. So that's where we are with that. So that is my life update with me, my family, living situation, job situations, and then I could just keep going on and on, but I thought this first coffee catch up, and I've done that. I've gotten together with some of my girlfriends, some of my old friends that were co-workers, and called them and said, hey, let's get together and catch up. And a true friend is somebody that you might not see for years, 1, 2, 3, 4 years, and you call and say, let's get together for coffee and catch up. Okay. It's so nice to have those types of friendships and stuff, because we all get so busy with our lives, or entangled in our own lives, or our own whatever angst going on, that kind of times friendships get put on the wayside just because of the way your life is going at the time. So that's one thing I decided. I thought I need to get together with my girlfriends. I need to get together with my girlfriends that I used to work with. I have some gals that I used to work with at my last job that I just haven't been able to get together, connect with, just for the fact of just dealing kind of with all of me, my new life. What am I doing? What am I going to live off of? How much money am I going to take out of my 401k? I got to get health insurance, taking care of my brother's stuff. So I've been all up in my own little head. So I think 2025, I said, let's have a good year. I thought we all deserve a good year. There's always so many changes, and everything can look so bleak, and you can get drag yourself down sometimes just thinking too much of the world and how overwhelming everything is, and you have to look for the small things. I tell you, I get up in the morning and I make sure everybody takes their bathroom run. Me, my puppies, and then kind of go back to bed. Put the coffee on, or keep it on, because my son makes a big enough pot in the morning where when I get up I have enough left for 2 coffee cups. So nothing better than waking up to the smell, to me, of coffee or bacon and eggs or toast. I love that smell to wake up. So every morning now, since he started drinking coffee, I have 2 nice cups of coffee waiting for me. But I do have to get up at 6:30 or 6 or 7, by 7, to hit the button to keep it so it stays on, so it doesn't cool down. Not like I can't heat it up. So I do that, and then I might lay back down. I can do whatever I want, and then I usually get up for the day. Anywhere between 8:30 and 9, and get up, and Miss Kitty Cat Violet's out in the back waiting at the patio door. She's waiting there like, I'm hungry, give me some food. So I'll open the door, and all she does is walk in the back door, walks down the front door, and then I gave her breakfast. She's just sitting there waiting. I'm like, hey, I'm hungry. Could you sleep in? And then I get my breakfast, and I get the dog's breakfast, and then I just sit at my dining room table in the morning, and also when I do my first let my puppies out the first time, make sure my feeders have food, or there's food on the rail, and then have my breakfast, and I'll watch my birds. Things don't have to be big and grand to enjoy life. You don't have to always have a big story. It can just be sometimes the very small things, like sitting and having breakfast, taking the time to do that, and looking at your birds, or maybe you like to get up and read in the morning, or whatever it is. I really slow down, and you don't have to be running 8 million different miles in 8 million different directions to enjoy life. You don't have to always be running. You don't have to always be busy. You can just enjoy the simple things. It's like, I can remember I have only not worked for 4 months now. I'm not an expert on it. But I can remember just thinking my mom, when she was retired, or, she's retired, and after my dad had passed, what does she do all day? She lived in town. But you get a little routine down, and I'll tell you, your day goes pretty fast. I have had, so it's nice to take time and you have a little breakfast every morning. You have your little chores. I always have like little projects. I'm really doing a lot of my pictures and picture albums and getting that all organized. And then I got into Ancestry, doing all of that, and I sent my DNA, and if they want my DNA and do something with it, go ahead. I don't care. And then I'll have to, we did so much stuff. I have to tell you, I just have to stick to my life because I'll be here for 2 hours. So I'm keeping busy with all that type of stuff, and there's plenty to keep you busy. Like I said, what do you do in a day, Mom? I'm like, well, just normal routine stuff, and then your day's done, and then it's supper time, and then you do dinner, and then you maybe watch some TV in the evening. I've tried to not have the TV on during the day to keep myself busy with something else, not to become a couch potato, that I always have some type of project. When I first was off, I was like really gung-ho about having to do 8 million things. It's like, do one little project a day, Mary, because you have nothing but time now. Slow down. So that's what I've been doing, and I've been keeping busy. It's amazing that you have so much stuff that you get done while you're working full time, and now you have the time to do it, but the time goes fast. Kind of strange. But anyway, so that's what I'm up to. That's what I've been doing. What about you guys? I said I had posted a little picture of morning coffee, and then somebody like, and then I through this time, if I do, because I have always posted my little camper rally stuff. I've been posting stuff from Viva Las Vegas 2 years ago. I just posted my camper rally from last year. That's okay. I get it done. So I've been posting. And then if anybody watches me regularly, I don't even know if anybody regularly watches me, but we had a Violet, who's still here, the mama cat. She got herself pregnant. She was an outside cat. She was a stray cat. You know, the cat distribution thing, right? She showed up here, and then for a long time, is she a boy, is she a girl, is she a boy, is she a girl? Oh, she was a girl. And then my son came home from work one night and said, she just had some kittens, and that was a whole rigmarole. So she is an outside kitty cat, and we take care of her, and we take her to the vet and take care of her health needs, but she's outside, and we only let her in here in the house, like when we have these cold snaps below zero. She does have a heated cat house. So she stays in her house, she's cozy, warm. And I know when it has been in, a little above zero, and she comes out of our cat house and I pick her up, she's cozy, warm, her body and her feet and everything are nice and warm. So if she's in her house, she is fine. And we can't have 2 dogs and a cat running around this house. Too much chaos. And she doesn't like to be in here for very long. When it's really, really cold, she'll come in and she'll sleep with the dog in her dog bed at night, but she wants to get up and she wants out. So she would not be a good inside cat anyway, because she likes to be outside. She likes to catch stuff. And she likes to catch my birds, which I'm not too terribly happy about. And I've tried to do barricades. She's taken out some of my songbirds, and she is a cat, but she has gotten our mice, and she's taken our mice population down, so we don't have the mice problem. But my songbird, so I try to, because she comes up the step or the rail, and I try to block it off, and and I still don't have a good system to keep her off that deck, and I don't, oh my God, I get very mad when she takes out, she's a cat though, she does cat things, but these outside cats are what takes down her bird population. So I have to think of something to get her so she can't get up on the deck, because like I said, she only comes up the steps or the rail, otherwise she couldn't get up there. So I have to think of, like, brainstorm something to put, and it has to be mobile, because the dogs go in and outside now. And if there's birds down on the ground, I hope they're cognizant that the cat's there, because I can't do nothing about the ground feeders. But that's what's been going on. Like I said, I'm just going to sit, let me think. I got everything caught up with family pretty much, camper pretty much, job, personal life, all that. And since my camper, all that was, okay, so that was my job thing, that's some personal life stuff. And then my camper got taken out, so then I took a loan out in the midst of the whole thing about if I didn't know if I have a job or not. I took a loan out, thought, gonna get a camper, I'll get another job if I don't take this one. So I got a camper, and if you remember I have my vintage campers. My original one up north, back in the day, used to be vintage, which had to get pulled out because the park said, it's too old for the new owner, gotta get something else in, so we did. I have my Nomad, which I've had. I just posted my first pictures of that on my Facebook page. And then I have my Bethany pop-up camper, which is, I call it the girl one because me and Christy can take that out independently without any fellas helping us. The other one is like 4,000 pounds. I can't deal with that. Somebody has to drive it, park it for me, and then pick it up after our vintage camper rally. 10th one this year. Um, I decided my dream in life, which now because of the way my life is, was always to have a little cabin on the lake, which I'm never going to have. Well, the new camper that I got, new used camper that I got, is it's the core and the inside is cabin. It's all done in earth tones and browns, and so I decided not to vintage it. I decided to do it very much cabin feel, because that was my dream. That was my retirement dream. So this is the next best thing I can do. Is the whole interior is all done cabin, and it's a really nice camper. Sleeps 10 people. It's got an outside kitchen. It's how old is it? Is it a 2012? I think it's a 2012. My old camper's on 1999, so she was ready to go anyway. Even though the tree hit her, at least I was gonna get a new one when I retired. Well, I retired early. The camper got taken out. Kind of forced my hand to get a new camper, and I thought I'm gonna get a camper that I like. So we found this one off Facebook. Got a really good deal on it. And it's my dream camper. I mean, it feels like you're walking into a cabin. I'll do a little video and post it for you, but it's not going to be vintagey at all. My vintage world has kind of shrunk down quite a bit and stuff, which I'm not going to talk about today. Today was supposed to be just a long-winded catch-up of like, where you been? What's going on with you? What's happening? So I think I covered everything that way. And then I'm going to, and I keep saying that, but I don't have nothing to do. I don't have a medical job. I don't have to help with the business anymore. I've kind of taken care of all of my personal stuff when it has come to family and health care and health and stuff on my house. That's been kind of a process. All these things that needed to get done are done with my house. I have no house projects, little few maintenance things. I think I'm going to put a garden back this summer and stuff. We'll talk about that another time. This was supposed to be just to catch up, so I hope I did. I hope hope you stayed to the end. Or you can pause me and do whatever and come back to me whatever. So it's really good to do this again. I feel really good about it. And it was a motivator because on a normal day, now that I'm retired, I don't get up and fix my hair. Oh, I was going to say, notice my hair? I quit dyeing my hair. This is my natural color, which is kind of a salt and pepper. So I got to talk to you about that whole process and my feelings about that. But it motivated me to get up and do, even though I'm not going anywhere, maybe I'll go to town, I don't know, do my hair, do my makeup, and just like, I did a pedicure, and then I got some of my cute stuff out. And I'm like, because you're home, you get up, get out of your pajamas, get in your loungewear, which are really just pajamas, aren't they? But you can wear them out. I see people wear pajamas out too. So it's kind of a motivator to get going for the day. And then maybe get my room a little organized. Like I said, this has kind of changed over here. I threw my vintage dresses in this pile over here that for Viva because my background's different. I got a TV set there. I'm like, well, it doesn't look very vintagey having a TV there. But this is my guest room also. And I've got a bigger TV for the guest room, so we put that there. So I thought, you know what? It's a good place to display my dresses. I'll just cover my TV up. Got rid of all my hair stuff that I used to have hanging, a lot of tchotchke things, and I've really downgraded. It got stuff, like I said, that meant something to me that I just didn't get. And when I was first really into the vintage stuff, I did a lot of shopping and stuff. And I got rid of a lot of stuff. We'll go into that another coffee. So that's why it kind of looks a little bit different, because from when I painted and redid everything, everything's kind of a little bit different that way. Okay, I'm going to stop. I don't know if I can. So that's where I'm all caught up now. It was good having coffee again. And I will be doing these routinely because I have nothing but time. And hopefully this works. And it turned out. And if part of my head is cut off or something's weird, I'm just going to upload it as is, and I will do better next time. So everybody take care. It was nice catching up. It was nice talking to you. It was nice having coffee with you. And I will be doing a lot more uploads and stuff for the very few of you that kind of stuck around with me for all this time. Take care. Good talking to you. Bye-bye.